The morning sun was already getting warm when Tyler finished his run around the neighborhood. He had been putting off buying a new laptop for weeks, and today seemed like the perfect day to finally get it done. His old computer had been acting up for months, freezing in the middle of important work calls and taking forever to load simple programs. As a software developer, he needed something reliable and fast. Tyler drove to Tech World, the big electronics store downtown. He had heard good things about their selection and customer service. The parking lot was already busy with weekend shoppers, families loading new televisions into their cars and teenagers looking at the latest phones through the windows. Walking through the automatic doors, Tyler felt the cool air conditioning hit his face. The store was huge, with bright lights and displays everywhere. Rows of laptops, phones, cameras, and gaming systems stretched out in front of him. The sound of multiple televisions playing different channels mixed with the chatter of customers and employees. Tyler was still wearing his running clothes, a simple black hoodie, gray sweatpants, and his old sneakers. He figured he would just quickly pick out a laptop and head home to shower. He did not think much about how he looked. After all, he was just shopping like everyone else. He made his way to the laptop section, which was toward the back of the store. The displays were impressive, with dozens of different models open and running demo programs. Price tags ranged from a few $100s to several thousand. Tyler knew exactly what he needed for his work, something with a fast processor, plenty of memory, and a good graphics card for the software development tools he used every day. As he walked down the first aisle of laptops, Tyler noticed a young employee organizing some boxes nearby. The employee looked up, made eye contact for a second, then quickly looked away. Tyler thought nothing of it and continued browsing. A few minutes later, Tyler found himself in front of the premium laptop section. These were the high-end machines that cost $3,000 or $4,000. He picked up a sleek silver laptop and opened it. The screen came to life immediately, showing a crisp, bright display. He clicked through a few programs to test the speed. This was exactly what he needed. Tyler was reading the specifications on the display tag when he noticed someone standing close behind him. He turned around to see a security guard pretending to look at tablets, but clearly watching him. The guard was a big man with a serious expression, wearing a uniform with security written across the chest. At first, Tyler thought it might be a coincidence. Security guards had to walk around the store after all. But as he moved to look at another laptop, the guard moved too, always staying about 10 feet away. Tyler tried to ignore it and focus on finding the right computer. He opened several more laptops, checking their keyboards, screens, and features. Each time he moved, he could see the security guard in his peripheral vision, following along. Then Tyler noticed a second security guard had appeared. This one was a woman, shorter than the first guard but just as serious looking. She positioned herself at the end of the aisle near the main walkway. Now Tyler felt like he was being watched from both sides. Other customers walked freely through the laptop section. A middle-aged woman in expensive-looking clothes spent several minutes examining a pink laptop, opening and closing it multiple times. No security guards followed her. A teenage boy played games on one of the demo computers for at least 10 minutes, while his father looked at business laptops nearby. No one seemed concerned about them. Tyler started to feel uncomfortable, but he tried to stay focused on his shopping. He had every right to be there, and he had not done anything wrong. He found a laptop that seemed perfect for his needs and decided to look for someone to help him with the purchase. Walking toward the customer service area, Tyler could hear footsteps behind him. Both security guards were now following him, not even trying to be subtle about it. Other customers started to notice. A few people turned to look, probably wondering what was happening. Tyler reached the customer service counter, where several employees were helping other customers. He waited patiently in line just like everyone else. The security guards positioned themselves near the counter, one on each side, like they were preparing for something to happen. When it was finally Tyler's turn, a young woman with red hair and a name tag that said Ashley greeted him with a forced smile. But before Tyler could even speak, Ashley's expression changed. She looked past him at the security guards, then back at his face, then down at his clothes. "Can I help you?" she asked. But her tone was different from how she had spoken to the customer before him. It was colder, more suspicious. "Yes, I'd like to buy one of the laptops," Tyler said politely. "The silver one in aisle 3. The one that costs about $3,000. Ashley's eyebrows went up. She looked at him like he had said something impossible. That's a very expensive computer, she said slowly. Are you sure you're looking for something in that price range? Tyler was confused by the question. Yes, I need it for work. I'm a software developer. Ashley looked skeptical. She glanced at the security guards again, and Tyler could see some kind of silent communication happening between them. Do you have the money for a purchase like that? Ashley asked directly. The question hit Tyler like a slap in the face. In all his years of shopping, no employee had ever asked him if he could afford something before even trying to help him. He looked around and saw other customers watching the interaction. Some looked uncomfortable, others seemed curious about what was happening. I have a credit card, Tyler said, trying to keep his voice calm. Just like any other customer. Ashley did not look convinced. I think maybe you should look at some of our more affordable options, she said, pointing toward the front of the store where the cheaper computers were displayed. We have some nice laptops for under $500. Tyler felt his face getting warm. This was not about money or laptops anymore. This was about something else entirely. Something that had nothing to do with his ability to pay or his knowledge of computers. I know what I want, Tyler said firmly, but politely. I'd like to purchase the laptop I showed you. The tension in the air was thick now. More customers had stopped what they were doing to watch. The security guards moved closer, and Tyler could see Ashley's hand hovering near the phone behind the counter. This simple shopping trip was turning into something Tyler had hoped he would never have to experience. But he was not going to let anyone make him feel like he did not belong in that store, especially when all he wanted to do was buy a computer and go home. Ashley picked up the phone behind the counter, but she did not dial yet. Instead, she held it like a weapon, making sure Tyler could see it. Her message was clear. One wrong move and she would call for help. Sir, I need to see some identification, Ashley said loudly. Her voice carried across the customer service area, and more people turned to look. And I need proof that you can actually afford what you're asking to buy. Tyler could not believe what he was hearing. He looked around at the other customers, hoping someone would speak up about how wrong this was. But most people just stared like they were watching a show. I don't need to prove anything to you, Tyler said, his voice steady but firm. I'm a customer trying to make a purchase. That's all. Ashley's face hardened. That's not how this works. You come in here dressed like... She paused, looking him up and down. Like that. Asking about our most expensive computers, and you think I'm just going to believe you? The security guard stepped closer. The male guard, whose name tag read Robert, crossed his arms over his chest. The female guard, Linda, moved to block the main exit from the customer service area. Look, Tyler said, trying to stay calm. I just finished my morning run. That's why I'm dressed like this. I'm not trying to cause any trouble. I just want to buy a laptop. Right, Ashley said with obvious disbelief. You just happened to come running through here and decided to look at $3,000 computers. That makes perfect sense. Other customers in line were getting impatient. A man in a business suit tapped his foot loudly. A woman with 2 small children looked around nervously, like she wanted to leave but did not know how. Ma'am, Tyler said, addressing Ashley directly. I understand you have procedures to follow, but you're treating me differently than other customers. I haven't done anything wrong. Haven't done anything wrong? Ashley's voice got louder. You've been walking around the store for 20 minutes, touching expensive equipment, acting suspicious. My security team has been watching you the whole time. Tyler felt his chest tighten. Acting suspicious how? By looking at laptops in a laptop store? Robert, the security guard, finally spoke up. We saw you checking multiple computers, opening them, testing them out. That's not normal customer behavior. That's exactly normal customer behavior, Tyler replied. Would you buy a $3,000 computer without testing it first? Ashley rolled her eyes. Please. Like you're really going to buy anything. You're probably just in here learning about the products so you can steal them later. The accusation hung in the air like a dark cloud. Tyler felt every eye in the area focused on him. Some customers had pulled out their phones, probably taking pictures or videos. He realized the situation was spinning completely out of control. I want to speak to a manager, Tyler said clearly. Right now. The manager is busy, Ashley replied quickly. But I can handle this situation myself. No, Tyler said firmly. I want to speak to the manager. That's my right as a customer. Ashley looked frustrated. She had clearly hoped to make Tyler leave without involving anyone else. But with so many people watching and phones recording, she could not just refuse his request. "Fine," she said, picking up the phone. "But don't think this is going to end the way you want it to." While Ashley made the call, Tyler tried to process what was happening. He had experienced some awkward moments in stores before, times when he felt like he was being watched more closely than other customers. But nothing like this. Never anything this direct and hostile. The other customers were still staring. Some looked uncomfortable with what they were seeing, but nobody said anything. A few seemed to agree with Ashley, nodding when she spoke or giving Tyler suspicious looks. Tyler pulled out his own phone and checked the time. This whole confrontation had only been going on for about 10 minutes, but it felt like an hour. He thought about just leaving, walking out and shopping somewhere else. But something inside him refused to give up. He had done nothing wrong, and he was not going to let anyone make him feel like a criminal for trying to buy a computer. "The manager will be here in a few minutes," Ashley announced after hanging up the phone. "But I'm warning you, don't think you can just sweet-talk your way out of this." "Out of what?" Tyler asked. "What exactly do you think I've done?" Before Ashley could answer, Linda, the security guard, stepped forward. "Sir, we need you to empty your pockets." Tyler stared at her. "Excuse me?" "Empty your pockets," Linda repeated. "We need to make sure you haven't taken anything." "I haven't taken anything," Tyler said, his voice rising slightly. "I haven't bought anything either, which is the problem here." "Just empty your pockets," Robert added, moving closer. "It'll only take a second." Tyler looked around the crowded customer service area. Everyone was watching this humiliating scene play out. His hands were shaking slightly from anger and embarrassment. "No," Tyler said quietly. "I'm not going to empty my pockets. I haven't stolen anything, and you have no right to search me." Ashley's face went red. "See? He's refusing to cooperate." "That proves he's hiding something." "That proves I know my rights," Tyler shot back. "You can't just search customers because you feel like it." The tension in the air was getting thicker by the minute. Other customers were backing away, creating a circle around Tyler and the employees. Some people looked scared, like they thought a fight might break out. "Sir," Robert said in a threatening tone, "we can do this the easy way or the hard way. Your choice." Tyler felt trapped. The security guards were bigger than him and positioned to block his exit. Ashley had her hand on the phone again, ready to call for backup. The crowd of customers was growing larger, with people coming from other parts of the store to see what was happening. Just when Tyler thought the situation could not get any worse, Ashley picked up the phone again and started dialing. "What are you doing?" Tyler asked. "Calling the police," Ashley said loudly, making sure everyone could hear. "We have a suspected shoplifter who's refusing to cooperate with store security." Tyler's heart started racing. "Suspected shoplifter? I haven't even tried to leave the store. I'm still trying to buy something." But Ashley was already talking to someone on the phone. "Yes, we need an officer at Tech World downtown. We have a suspicious individual who's been acting erratically and refusing to follow store policies." Tyler could not believe this was really happening. In the span of 20 minutes, he had gone from being a regular customer to being treated like a criminal. All because he wanted to buy a laptop while wearing his running clothes. The worst part was that some of the watching customers seemed to think Ashley was doing the right thing. Tyler could hear whispered conversations around him. People saying things like, "Better safe than sorry," and "You never know these days." As they waited for the police to arrive, Tyler realized he had a decision to make. He could try to leave right now, but that would probably make him look guilty. He could wait for the manager and hope for a reasonable conversation. Or he could call someone who might be able to help him. Tyler pulled out his phone and started scrolling through his contacts. Ashley saw him and got nervous. "Who are you calling?" she demanded. "You're not allowed to call anyone." "I'm calling someone who can help sort this out," Tyler said calmly. "Unless you want to add denying phone access to your list of illegal actions today." Ashley looked uncertain for the first time since this whole thing started. She had been so confident in her authority, but now she seemed to realize that Tyler knew more about his rights than she had expected. The phone rang once, twice. Then someone picked up. Tyler felt a small wave of relief wash over him as he heard the familiar voice on the other end. "Hey," Tyler said into the phone. "I need your help. I'm at Tech World downtown, and I'm having a serious problem." While Tyler was on the phone, A man in a dark blue suit approached the customer service area. He was tall and thin with gray hair and glasses. His name tag identified him as Kevin Morrison, store manager. Several employees quickly surrounded him, with Ashley leading the way. Tyler could hear Ashley talking rapidly to Kevin, pointing at him and gesturing wildly. She was clearly giving her version of what had happened, and from Kevin's expression he was believing every word. Tyler finished his phone call just as Kevin walked over to him. The manager's face was stern and unfriendly. He looked Tyler up and down, taking in the running clothes and sneakers, and Tyler could see the judgment in his eyes. "Sir, I'm Kevin Morrison, the store manager," he said in a cold, professional tone. "I understand we're having some difficulties here today." "There's been a misunderstanding," Tyler began, but Kevin held up his hand to stop him. "Let me explain what I've been told," Kevin said loudly, making sure everyone around could hear. "You've been in my store for over 30 minutes, handling expensive merchandise, acting in a suspicious manner, and now you're refusing to cooperate with our security procedures." Tyler felt his frustration growing. "That's not what happened at all. I came in to buy a laptop. Your employee Ashley immediately started treating me like a criminal before I even said what I wanted." Kevin looked skeptical. "And you expect me to believe that you, dressed like that, can afford a $3,000 computer?" The comment hit Tyler like a punch to the stomach. Here was the store manager, the person who was supposed to resolve conflicts fairly, making the same assumptions as his employees. "How I'm dressed has nothing to do with what I can afford," Tyler said, trying to keep his voice level. "I just finished exercising. I'm sorry if my appearance doesn't meet your standards, but I'm still a paying customer." Ashley jumped in. "He claims he's a software developer, but look at him. Does he look like someone who works in technology?" Tyler could not believe what he was hearing. "What exactly does a software developer look like? Because I've been writing code for 8 years and I've never been told there was a dress code for shopping." Kevin crossed his arms. "Sir, I think you need to understand something. This is a high-end electronics store. We deal with expensive merchandise. We have to be careful about who we allow to handle our products." "Allow?" Tyler repeated. "You have to allow customers to look at products they might buy? That's literally what stores are for." By now, a crowd of at least 20 people had gathered around the customer service area. Some were taking videos with their phones. Others were just watching like it was entertainment. Tyler felt exposed and humiliated, but he was not going to back down. Kevin noticed the crowd and seemed pleased that he had an audience. "We've had problems with theft in this store," he announced. "People come in, pretend to be customers, learn about our products, and then come back later to steal them. We have to protect our business." "So your solution is to assume that anyone who doesn't look wealthy enough is automatically a criminal?" Tyler asked. "We have the right to refuse service to anyone," Kevin replied smugly. "And we have the right to call the police when someone is acting suspiciously in our store." Tyler heard sirens in the distance getting closer. Ashley had actually called the police and they were on their way. The situation was escalating beyond anything Tyler had imagined when he walked into the store that morning. "What exactly have I done that's suspicious?" Tyler asked. "I looked at laptops in the laptop section. I asked about buying one. I haven't touched anything I wasn't supposed to touch. I haven't tried to leave with anything. And I haven't raised my voice or made any threats." Kevin looked at Ashley and the security guards as if checking his facts. Ashley nodded encouragingly. "You've been observed by our security team acting in an unusual manner," Kevin said. "Testing multiple computers, spending an unusually long time in the premium section, and now refusing to provide identification when requested." "I don't have to provide identification unless I'm making a purchase," Tyler replied. "And I can't make a purchase because your employees keep accusing me of being a thief instead of actually helping me buy something." The sirens were getting louder. Tyler realized that in a few minutes, police officers would walk into the store and see him surrounded by security guards and store employees. They would probably assume he had done something wrong, just like everyone else had. Tyler looked at the crowd of customers watching the scene. Most of them seemed to think the store employees were handling the situation properly. A few people were shaking their heads, looking uncomfortable with what they were seeing, but nobody was speaking up for him. "You know what's really happening here," Tyler said to Kevin, his voice carrying across the customer service area. "This isn't about theft or suspicious behavior. This is about the fact that you don't think someone who looks like me belongs in your store." Kevin's face turned red. That's absolutely not true. We treat all customers equally. Really? Tyler challenged.
Have you asked any other customers for identification today?
Have you had security guards follow anyone else around the store? Have you questioned anyone else's ability to afford your products? Ashley stepped forward. That's different. Those customers weren't acting suspicious. How was I acting suspicious? Tyler pressed. Be specific. Ashley looked flustered. You were just... It was obvious something wasn't right. Tyler looked directly at Kevin. So your employee can't even explain what I supposedly did wrong. But you're still calling the police on me? Kevin was starting to look uncertain, but he had committed to his position and could not back down now, especially not in front of all these customers and his employees. The police will sort this out, Kevin said. If you haven't done anything wrong, you have nothing to worry about. Tyler almost laughed at the absurdity of that statement. Right, because police interactions always go smoothly for people who look like me, especially when store employees have already labeled me as suspicious. The sirens were very close now. Tyler could see flashing lights through the store's front windows. His heart was racing, but he tried to stay calm. He knew that the next few minutes would be crucial. Kevin seemed to sense that the situation was about to become official, and he wanted to make sure his version of events was clear. Officers, he called out as 2 police officers entered the store. We have a suspected shoplifter who's been acting aggressively and refusing to cooperate. Tyler could not believe Kevin had just called him aggressive. Throughout the entire confrontation, Tyler had remained calm and polite, even while being accused of crimes he had not committed. The police officers approached the customer service area. They were both white men, one older and one younger. The older officer looked experienced and tired, like he had seen this kind of thing many times before. The younger officer looked eager, like he was ready for action. What seems to be the problem here? The older officer asked. Kevin immediately started talking, telling the officers about Tyler's suspicious behavior and refusal to cooperate. Ashley added her own comments, making Tyler sound like he had been threatening and difficult from the moment he walked in. Tyler waited for his chance to speak, but he could see that the officers were already forming their opinion based on what they were hearing from the store employees. The fact that Tyler was surrounded by security guards and store staff, while being watched by a crowd of customers, made him look guilty before he even opened his mouth. When Kevin finished his explanation, the older officer turned to Tyler. Sir, we need to see some identification. Tyler reached slowly for his wallet, making sure his movements were clear and non-threatening. He handed over his driver's license, which showed his real name, address, and the fact that he was a law-abiding citizen with no criminal record. The officer examined the license carefully, then looked back at Tyler. What are you doing in the store today, sir? I came to buy a laptop for work, Tyler said simply. I'm a software developer and I need a new computer. That's all, the younger officer spoke up. The store employees say you were acting suspicious. Can you explain that? Tyler took a deep breath. This was his chance to tell his side of the story and he needed to make it count. I've been in the store for about 40 minutes, Tyler began. I spent most of that time looking at laptops, trying to find one that would work for my job. I tested a few computers, which is normal when you're about to spend $3,000. When I found one I liked, I went to customer service to ask about buying it. Instead of helping me make a purchase, the employee immediately started questioning whether I could afford it and demanding identification. When I asked to speak to a manager, she called you. The older officer looked at Kevin. Has he attempted to leave the store with any merchandise? Well, no, Kevin admitted. But our security team observed suspicious behavior. What kind of suspicious behavior? The officer asked. Kevin looked at Ashley and the security guards for support. Tell them what you saw, he said to Robert. Robert cleared his throat. He was spending a lot of time looking at expensive computers, opening them up, testing them out. The older officer looked confused. Isn't that what customers do when they're shopping for computers? Ashley jumped in, but he was dressed inappropriately for someone who could afford those products. Tyler could see the older officer's expression change slightly. He had probably dealt with discrimination complaints before, and he was starting to recognize what was really happening here. Just then, Tyler's phone rang. He looked at the caller ID and felt a wave of relief wash over him. That's the person I called earlier, Tyler told the officers. She's on her way here to help clear this up. Kevin looked nervous for the first time. Who did you call? Tyler smiled for the first time since walking into the store. Someone who's going to be very interested in how your employees treat customers. 5 minutes later, a woman in an expensive business suit walked through the front doors of Tech World. She moved with confidence and purpose, her heels clicking sharply on the tile floor. Several customers turned to look at her, sensing that she was someone important. The woman was Dr. Carmen Rodriguez, and she had driven across town as soon as Tyler called her. Carmen was not just any businesswoman. She was the regional vice president for Tech World's entire West Coast operation, overseeing 47 stores and thousands of employees. Carmen scanned the crowded customer service area until she spotted Tyler standing with the police officers, store employees, and security guards. Her expression darkened as she took in the scene. "Excuse me," Carmen said loudly, her voice carrying authority that made everyone turn around. "I'm Carmen Rodriguez, Regional Vice President for Tech World. What exactly is happening here?" Kevin's face went completely white. He recognized Carmen immediately from corporate meetings and training videos. Ashley and the security guards looked confused, not understanding who this woman was or why she seemed so important. "Ms. Rodriguez," Kevin stammered, "we're just handling a security situation. Nothing for you to worry about." Carmen walked directly to Tyler, ignoring Kevin completely. "Tyler, are you okay? Has anyone hurt you?" The crowd of customers murmured in surprise. This important-looking businesswoman clearly knew Tyler personally, and she was treating him with respect and concern. "I'm fine," Tyler said, though he was obviously shaken by the experience. "But your employees have been treating me like a criminal for the past hour." Carmen turned to face Kevin, and her expression was ice cold. "Explain to me exactly what has happened here, and why one of our most valued business partners is surrounded by police officers in my store." Kevin looked confused. "Business partner?" "Tyler Henderson," Carmen said clearly, "is the lead software architect for Henderson Digital Solutions. His company has been working with Tech World Corporate for 6 months on a major technology upgrade project. Tyler personally designed the inventory management system that we're rolling out to all our stores next quarter." The police officers looked at each other with raised eyebrows. Ashley's mouth fell open. Robert and Linda, the security guards, suddenly found the floor very interesting to look at. "There must be some mistake," Kevin said weakly. "He's just a customer. He came in dressed inappropriately and was acting suspicious." Carmen looked at Tyler's running clothes, then back at Kevin. "Dressed inappropriately for what? Shopping? Since when do we have a dress code for customers?" Tyler spoke up. "I told them I was a software developer, but they didn't believe me. They said I didn't look like someone who works in technology." Carmen's anger was visible now. She had worked hard to build her career in the male-dominated tech industry, and she had zero tolerance for the kind of prejudice Tyler had experienced. "Let me understand this correctly," Carmen said to Kevin. "You assumed that because Tyler was wearing casual clothes, he couldn't afford our products. Then you had security guards follow him around the store, questioned his ability to pay, and called the police. Is that accurate?" Kevin tried to defend himself. "We have procedures to follow. We have to protect against theft." "What procedures?" Carmen demanded. "Show me the corporate policy that says we should treat customers differently based on how they're dressed. Show me the training manual that says we should assume someone is a criminal because of their appearance." Kevin could not answer because no such policies existed. Tech World Corporate had very clear guidelines about treating all customers with respect and dignity, regardless of their appearance or background. Carmen turned to the police officers. "Officers, I apologize that you were called here unnecessarily. As you can see, this is not a criminal matter. This is a case of store employees making inappropriate assumptions about a customer." The older police officer nodded. "We can see that, ma'am. No crime has been committed here." He looked at Kevin with obvious disapproval. "Sir, you might want to think twice before calling us in the future unless you have actual evidence of wrongdoing." Ashley finally found her voice, but he was acting suspicious. He spent a long time looking at expensive computers. Carmen looked at Ashley like she could not believe what she was hearing. He spent time looking at computers because he was shopping for computers. That's what customers do. Tyler pulled out his business card and handed it to Carmen. "I tried to show them this, but they assumed it was fake." Carmen examined the card, then handed it to Kevin. "Henderson Digital Solutions. You've seen this company name in dozens of corporate emails over the past 6 months. Tyler's team has been working with our IT department to revolutionize how we track inventory and manage customer data. Kevin stared at the business card like it was written in a foreign language. The reality of the situation was starting to hit him. He had not just mistreated a random customer. He had mistreated someone who was directly connected to Tech World's future success. Carmen continued her explanation, making sure everyone could hear. Tyler's software solutions are going to save Tech World millions of dollars over the next 5 years. He's been working directly with our corporate headquarters, and his innovations are going to be implemented in every single Tech World store across the country. The crowd of customers was listening to every word. Many of them had phones out recording the conversation. Tyler could see the shock and embarrassment on the faces of the people who had assumed he was up to no good. Furthermore, Carmen said, her voice getting stronger, Tyler was planning to purchase several high-end computers today for his development team. That would have been a sale worth over $15,000. Ashley looked like she was going to be sick. She had not only lost a major sale, but she had humiliated a customer who was directly connected to the company's leadership. Carmen turned to address the watching customers. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to apologize on behalf of Tech World for what you've witnessed today. This is not how we train our employees to treat customers, and it's not representative of our company values. Several customers nodded approvingly. A few people started clapping, showing their support for Carmen's response to the situation. Now, Carmen said, turning back to Kevin, I need to understand how this happened. What training have you provided to your staff about customer service and discrimination? Kevin looked like he wanted to disappear. We follow all corporate guidelines, he said defensively. Clearly you don't, Carmen replied sharply. Because corporate guidelines say that every customer should be treated with respect and dignity, regardless of their appearance, age, race, or any other factor. Tyler watched the exchange with a mixture of relief and satisfaction. For the past hour, he had been made to feel like he was the problem. Now finally, someone with authority was holding the store employees accountable for their behavior. Carmen pulled out her phone and made a quick call. This is Carmen Rodriguez, she said to whoever answered. I need security footage from store number 42 for the past 2 hours. Send it to my email immediately. When she hung up, she looked at Kevin again. I'm going to review exactly what happened here today. I'm going to see how my employees treated a valued customer and business partner, and then I'm going to decide what consequences are appropriate. The police officers were preparing to leave, satisfied that there was no criminal situation to handle. The older officer approached Tyler before they left. Sir, I'm sorry about what happened today, he said quietly. You handled yourself very well in a difficult situation. Tyler thanked the officer, who then turned to Kevin with a warning. Next time, make sure you have real evidence before you call us. Wasting police resources because of your assumptions isn't acceptable. After the police left, Carmen addressed the remaining crowd. The store will remain open, and we hope you'll continue shopping with us. Our customer service team will be happy to help anyone who needs assistance. Most of the customers dispersed, but several approached Tyler to apologize for not speaking up earlier, or to express their support for how he had handled the situation. Carmen waited until the area was mostly clear, then turned to Tyler. I am so sorry this happened to you. This is completely unacceptable, and there will be serious consequences. Tyler appreciated her support, but he was emotionally exhausted from the ordeal. I just wanted to buy a laptop, he said simply. And you're going to get that laptop, Carmen assured him. Plus a lot more. Kevin, you're going to personally help Tyler with his purchase, and you're going to give him our corporate discount on everything he wants to buy. Kevin looked like he had been hit by a truck, but he nodded reluctantly. Carmen was not finished. And after Tyler gets his laptop, you and I are going to have a very long conversation about what happened here today and what changes need to be made immediately. As Tyler finally got the chance to make his purchase, he realized that this terrible experience might actually lead to positive changes that would prevent other customers from going through what he had endured. But first, he was going to get his laptop, and Kevin was going to have to smile and be helpful while he did it. Kevin's hands were shaking as he processed Tyler's laptop purchase. The same computer he had claimed Tyler could not afford was now being sold at a significant corporate discount, and Kevin had to smile and act helpful throughout the entire transaction. Carmen stood nearby, watching every interaction to make sure Tyler was treated with the respect he should have received from the beginning. Other employees in the store had heard about what happened, and they were all being extra polite and professional. "Will you be needing any accessories with your laptop, sir?" Kevin asked, his voice strained but polite. Tyler decided to test just how committed Kevin was to making things right. "Actually, yes. I'll need a wireless mouse, a laptop bag, an external monitor, and a wireless keyboard. My team will need these for the Tech World project we're working on." Kevin's eye twitched at the mention of the corporate project, but he dutifully added each item to the order. The total came to over $4,000 even with the discount. "Excellent choice, Mr. Henderson," Carmen said loudly, making sure other customers could hear. "These products will serve you well as you continue developing software solutions for our company." As Kevin finished the transaction, Carmen pulled Ashley aside for a private conversation. Tyler could not hear what was being said, but Ashley's face went from pale to red to pale again. When the conversation ended, Ashley walked quickly toward the employee break room, looking like she might cry. After Tyler completed his purchase, Carmen walked him to the front of the store. "Tyler, I want you to know that what happened today is going to lead to major changes in how we train our employees." "I hope so," Tyler said, "because if this happened to me, it's probably happening to other people too." Carmen nodded seriously. "You're absolutely right. This afternoon, I'm calling an emergency meeting with all the store managers in this region. We're going to review our customer service policies and implement mandatory training on unconscious bias and discrimination." They reached Tyler's car in the parking lot, and Carmen helped him load his new equipment. As they worked, she continued explaining the changes she planned to make. "Within 30 days, every employee in every Tech World store is going to complete sensitivity training," Carmen said. "We're also implementing a new customer feedback system that will allow people to report discrimination immediately." Tyler appreciated her commitment, but he was curious about the immediate consequences for the employees who had treated him so poorly. "What's going to happen to Ashley and Kevin?" he asked. Carmen's expression became serious. "Ashley is being terminated immediately. Her behavior today was completely unacceptable, and it's clear she doesn't understand the basic principles of customer service." Tyler felt a mix of satisfaction and sympathy. He had not wanted anyone to lose their job, but Ashley's actions had been truly inappropriate. As for Kevin, Carmen continued, "He's being suspended without pay for 2 weeks, and he'll be required to complete extensive training before he can return to work. If there are any similar incidents in the future, he'll be terminated as well." Carmen pulled out her business card and handed it to Tyler. "I want you to have my direct contact information. If you ever have any problems at any Tech World store anywhere in the country, I want you to call me immediately." Tyler thanked her and put the card in his wallet. As he was about to get in his car, Carmen stopped him. "Tyler, there's one more thing I want to discuss with you. After what happened today, I think Tech World needs to do more than just train our employees. We need to show our commitment to treating all customers fairly." Tyler was curious about what she had in mind. "I'd like to offer you a position as a consultant on our customer service policies," Carmen explained. "You could help us review our procedures and make sure something like this never happens again." The offer was unexpected, but Tyler could see the value in it. "What would that involve?" "You'd work with our corporate team to develop new training materials, review customer complaints, and help us create a more inclusive shopping environment. It would be part-time work that you could do alongside your regular business." Tyler thought about it for a moment. The idea of helping prevent other customers from experiencing what he had gone through was appealing. "I'm interested," Tyler said, "but I have one condition." "What's that?" "I want to include real customer stories in the training. Not just theories about discrimination, but actual examples of what it feels like to be treated unfairly. People need to understand the emotional impact of their actions." Carmen smiled. "That's exactly the kind of insight we need. You've got a deal." As Tyler drove home, he reflected on the incredible day he had experienced. What started as a simple shopping trip had turned into a nightmare, then transformed into an opportunity to create positive change. His phone buzzed with a text message from Carmen. "The security footage from today has been sent to corporate headquarters. Your experience is going to be used as a case study in our new training program." A few weeks later, Tyler returned to Tech World to pick up some additional equipment for his team. Kevin was working that day and he approached Tyler nervously. "Mr. Henderson," Kevin said, I want to apologize again for what happened. I've completed the sensitivity training and I understand now how wrong my assumptions were. Tyler could see that Kevin's apology was genuine. I appreciate that, Kevin. How has the new training been received by your staff? Really well, actually, Kevin replied. We've had several situations where the old me might have made the same mistakes I made with you. But now we have better procedures in place and my team knows to focus on helping customers rather than judging them. Tyler was pleased to hear about the positive changes. As he completed his purchase, he noticed that the store felt different. Employees were more welcoming to all customers, regardless of how they were dressed or what they looked like. 6 months later, Carmen invited Tyler to speak at TechWorld's National Employee Conference. He stood in front of 800 store managers and employees, telling his story and explaining how unconscious bias affects customer service. When I walked into that store in my running clothes, Tyler told the audience, the employees made assumptions about who I was and what I could afford. Those assumptions turned a potential $15,000 sale into a humiliating experience that could have damaged TechWorld's reputation permanently. The audience listened intently as Tyler described the emotional impact of being treated like a criminal for trying to make a purchase. But here's the important part, Tyler continued. The changes that TechWorld made after that incident have created a better shopping experience for everyone. When you treat all customers with respect and dignity, you build trust and loyalty that leads to better business outcomes. After his presentation, dozens of employees approached Tyler to thank him for sharing his story and to tell him about positive changes they had seen in their own stores. Carmen later told Tyler that customer satisfaction scores had improved significantly across all TechWorld locations since implementing the new training programs. Your experience was terrible, Carmen said, but it opened our eyes to problems we didn't even know we had. Now we're a better company because of the courage you showed that day. Tyler's software consulting business also benefited from the partnership with TechWorld. Word spread about his work on customer service improvements, and other companies began hiring him to help with similar projects. A year after the incident, Tyler received an email from a young woman named Patricia. She had been shopping at a different TechWorld store when employees started following her around and questioning her right to be there. Instead of escalating the situation, the store manager recognized what was happening and immediately intervened, apologizing and ensuring Patricia received excellent customer service. I found out later that there was some kind of training program about treating customers fairly, Patricia wrote. I don't know who started it, but I wanted to thank them for making sure I didn't have to go through what could have been a really humiliating experience. Tyler showed the email to Carmen, who smiled proudly. This is exactly what we hoped would happen. We've received dozens of similar stories from customers who noticed the difference in how they were treated. The most satisfying outcome for Tyler was knowing that his experience had led to lasting change. What could have been just another story of discrimination had become a catalyst for creating a more inclusive and respectful business environment. Tyler still shops at TechWorld regularly, and he's always impressed by the professionalism and courtesy of the employees. The store where his ordeal began has become one of the most welcoming and customer-focused locations in the chain. Sometimes Tyler runs into Kevin, who has become a strong advocate for the customer service improvements. Kevin often tells new employees about the importance of treating every customer with respect, though he's careful not to reveal that he learned this lesson the hard way. The best part about this whole experience, Tyler told Carmen recently, is that it proved something I've always believed. When people are willing to acknowledge their mistakes and work to fix them, real positive change is possible, Carmen agreed. Your story reminds us that behind every customer is a real person with feelings, dreams, and dignity that deserve to be respected. That's not just good business practice, and it's the right thing to do.